The anticipated collapse, once dismissed by many as improbable, is now unfolding before our eyes. Keir's leadership is not merely under scrutiny, it is crumbling. Those who once shielded him, stifled criticism, and bolstered his image have now turned against him. In a matter of hours, Starmer's entire front bench team has resigned. A total of 43 Labour MPs have either resigned or endorsed a vote of no confidence, leaving the party in a state of open rebellion. Central to this political collapse is a scandal involving $22 billion in secret contracts. Leaked documents have revealed a complex web of backroom deals tied to private firms with direct connections to Starmer's inner circle. These were not ordinary administrative errors, they were intentional decisions. Contracts were approved without public bidding or oversight, allegedly channeling taxpayer and party funds into the hands of allies, donors, and associates. Notably, a single firm linked to Starmer's chief of staff reportedly received $3.4 billion for consulting services that lack any concrete evidence of delivery. The response was swift and intense. Shadow ministers began issuing scathing public resignations. The Shadow Chancellor initiated the exodus with a fiery speech in Parliament, accusing Starmer of gross misconduct and a massive cover-up. The Shadow Foreign Secretary followed soon after, stating she could no longer serve under a leader who prioritized private gain over public service. By the day's end, more than a dozen senior figures had resigned. This was not merely a reshuffle, it was a mutiny. The upheaval extended beyond Westminster. Constituency Labour Party branches have issued open letters demanding Starmer's resignation. Activists are leaving en masse, with some even posting videos of themselves burning their membership cards. Internal party discussions are reportedly filled with anger, confusion, and urgent calls for immediate leadership change. The tipping point arrived when internal documents were leaked to the press, revealing that Starmer had personally approved several deals benefiting companies connected to his allies. The media seized the opportunity. His attempt to defend himself at a hastily arranged press conference fell flat. He appeared shaken, defensive, and utterly out of control. Claims that he inherited a broken system seemed hollow, especially as his former allies confirmed the worst behind the scenes. A formal letter, signed by 43 Labour MPs demanding his removal, was delivered to the chief whip within hours. Senior party figures are reportedly holding emergency talks about appointing a caretaker leader, possibly Angela Renner, while preparing for a full leadership contest. This is more than just one man's downfall. It is the unraveling of a leadership built on secrecy, control, and backroom loyalty. Insiders suggest that more damaging revelations are imminent. What has emerged thus far may only be the tip of the iceberg of what has been hidden behind Starmer's carefully crafted image. The question now is not whether he will survive, but how much of the Labour Party will endure alongside him. A political storm is tearing through the Labour Party, centered around a scandal of unprecedented scale. One firm, reportedly run by a former Blair-era consultant and a significant donor to Keir Starmer's leadership campaign, was awarded $3.44 billion in public funds for communication strategy. Another received $1.2 billion for digital outreach, yet no traceable ad purchases or media campaigns have surfaced. These suspicious transactions are merely the beginning. Leaked internal documents reveal that many of these firms share the same legal and financial representation, suggesting a coordinated effort to channel funds through favored contractors while avoiding scrutiny. The financial trail is murky, but the intent seems clear: centralize power, reward loyalty, and evade oversight. Even more damning is the exposure of a covert advisory board, a private group of lobbyists, media strategists, and corporate executives who met weekly with Starmer. This board operated entirely outside Labour's formal structures, reported to no elected body, and was never disclosed to the party's National Executive Committee. Yet, it wielded enormous influence, steering major economic decisions, including Labour's reversal on public ownership and the softening of its climate agenda. This board, referred to in leaked emails as the Shadow Slate, allegedly determined who received lucrative contracts and consulting roles. The term appears throughout internal correspondence, describing a pre-selected group of firms and advisors favored by Starmer's leadership circle. These revelations have shaken the party, with one senior MP describing it as a shadow government inside a shadow cabinet. For many MPs, this was the ultimate betrayal. They had defended Starmer through numerous controversies, believing in his promise of integrity and accountability. However, this scandal shattered those illusions. One former shadow minister, in a damning resignation letter, revealed she had raised concerns months ago, only to be told to drop the issue for the sake of party unity. She now openly admits, "I maintained my silence out of loyalty, but that loyalty has been unequivocally betrayed." The backlash that has ensued is as explosive as it is unprecedented. Members of parliament from working-class constituencies are expressing their fury in no uncertain terms. An MP from the North starkly remarked, "We were promised a party for the people. Instead, what we received was akin to a cartel." Other whistleblowers have recounted facing threats of deselection, or the withdrawal of funding when they dared to question the party's financial decisions. It was a classic playbook in action: consolidate power, reward allies, and suppress dissent. However, that playbook has now spectacularly collapsed. The leaked documents have emboldened MPs and activists who once lived in fear of reprisal. As of now, over 60 MPs have appended their signatures to a letter demanding a leadership contest, and the tally is increasing with each passing hour. The grassroots revolt is equally formidable. Thousands of party members are canceling their subscriptions, while key trade unions such as Unite have suspended their donations pending a comprehensive inquiry. Starmer's response has served only to exacerbate the situation. His team issued a statement asserting that the documents were misrepresented, and that the advisory board was merely informal, yet few are persuaded by these claims. Neither the press nor the MPs are buying it, and the public is certainly not convinced. Even if the contracts were technically within legal bounds, the moral failure is glaringly apparent. How can a leader who championed transparency and ethics now find himself associated with clandestine boards and billions in untraceable expenditures? Within the headquarters of the Labour Party, the atmosphere is palpably tense. Desperation has taken hold. Reports indicate that senior aides are frantically attempting to stem the tide of resignations by offering last-minute promotions, financial incentives, and various favors. But it appears to be too little, too late. One MP, upon being offered a frontbench position in exchange for their support, responded, "He lied to us. He lied to the country. He must go." A faction of MPs, styling themselves as the Integrity Group, has already coalesced, pledging to initiate a vote of no confidence at the next meeting of the Parliamentary Labour Party. Should it pass, the party will be legally obliged to conduct a new leadership election. Meanwhile, Starmer's loyalists, dubbed the Shadow Corps, are mounting a defense, but their grip on the situation is rapidly weakening. The crisis has permeated every facet of the Labour Party. What began as whispers has now erupted into a full-blown political crisis. And as the vote of no confidence looms ever closer, the question is not merely whether Keir Starmer will survive, but how many more secrets will be uncovered before he ultimately falls. The Labour Party teeters on the brink of implosion. Stripped of its socialist roots and rebranded to appeal to corporate interests, its leadership now confronts an internal rebellion of unprecedented magnitude. Starmer's team has adopted an aggressive stance, leaking damaging information about dissenting MPs, threatening local party branches with suspension, and even preparing legal challenges to thwart a vote of no confidence. A senior MP has described these actions as an authoritarian gambit, warning that resorting to the courts to suppress party democracy could fracture Labour for a generation. Tensions reached a boiling point during a clandestine emergency meeting of the National Executive Committee, NEC. Starmer's team attempted to declare the leaked documents inadmissible, citing data protection laws. The maneuver backfired spectacularly. Members staged a walkout. Others leveled accusations of a cover-up, necessitating the intervention of security personnel. The motion was defeated, and a faction within the NEC broke ranks, calling for Starmer's resignation. "He's finished," confided one insider. The only question now is just how ugly things will get. Meanwhile, the Labour headquarters is beset by leaks, emails, memos, financial reports, all laying bare a toxic culture of secrecy and surveillance. One particularly damning revelation detailed a payment of over £700,000 to a PR firm tasked with monitoring MPs' social media accounts for signs of disloyalty. Another disclosed the use of artificial intelligence tools to create a digital blacklist, rewarding loyalty and punishing dissent. MPs are incensed, with one describing it as akin to a corporate cult obsessed with control. Grassroots anger is erupting across the country. Dozens of local party branches are passing motions demanding Starmer's resignation. In regions such as the North and Midlands, some are threatening to withhold campaign funds unless he steps down. Volunteers are disappearing, donations are dwindling, and discussions about fielding independent candidates are gaining traction. Media scrutiny is intensifying. Trade unions are demanding answers. Even the Conservative Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, has taken the opportunity to mock Starmer in Parliament. Within the Labour Party, names like Angela Rayner and Andy Burnham are being suggested as potential successors. While there is little consensus on who the next leader should be, there is a near-universal agreement on one point: Starmer must go. The reckoning has arrived, and with it, the future of the Labour Party hangs in the balance.